Today, the moon goes into Sagittarius and is heading into Sunday early morning full moon exact in Sagittarius. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Saturday, May 30th. And the moon enters Sagittarius at 5:44 a.m. Pacific time, and so with that shift from the Scorpio moon into the Sagittarius moon, we get a little bit more reflective. So Scorpio is in the body, it's in the soul, it's in the energy that is moving below the surface. And once we shift into Sagittarius, we bring it up a little bit more into our thinking ability, our capacity to process the information and maybe even tell a story about what's been moving and changing and taking shape inside of us. We are, of course, having a Sagittarius full moon on May 31st, 1:44 a.m. Pacific time. So that and that exact Sagittarius full moon is at 9 degrees opposing the sun at 9 degrees Gemini. So that really highlights, and we have the energy all day Saturday, all day Sunday of this full moon, the glow, the basking in the light of the fully illuminated moon. And that can bring new awareness to our consciousness. It can help us access insights, think or see things from new perspectives, open doors to possibilities that maybe we couldn't see before, especially with this Sagittarius energy. So the sign of Sagittarius it's the sign of the archer, right? It's the sign of how we set goals or hitch our wagon to a star and then are willing to take that long distance journey to reach that goal, to at least go beyond the boundaries of the known, to enter new territory, to see things from new perspectives. So whether that is getting above the trees to see the forest, or whether it's getting on a plane or a boat or a train and literally going to a new land to expose yourself to new, different ways of thinking about the world, different perspectives, different languages, different ways of telling the story of who we are. And the way that when we travel like that, we can open our minds, we can uncover knowledge that maybe was there all along, but we kind of forgot about it or we weren't thinking about it, right? It wasn't in our immediate thinking or our immediate presence. So Sagittarius is the energy of how we go beyond boundaries to open to those new possibilities. And that is why Sagittarius is known for its connection to belief systems, religions, things that give us sort of a paradigm or a system of beliefs that structure our understanding of the world around us. So it doesn't have to be religion, right? It could be any kind of belief system. But with this, bringing it back to this weekend and our Sagittarius full moon, there is an invitation here to travel, if not physically in body, to travel in your mind to new perspectives, different ways of seeing things, opening to new possibilities. And Sagittarius is ultimately the sign of hope, of optimism, of faith, right? It's the ability to believe that there is something more out there. And of course, we know that there is. We know that we can get outside of our own little limited viewpoint and see it from a different perspective, whatever it is. So having that sense and that spirit of our ability to go beyond, to go into new territory, new possibilities. So it's awakening potentially our sense of hope, our sense of belief in possibility, to open our ability to see where those possibilities might lie. Another important factor in this weekend's Sagittarius full moon is the Gemini sun. And so, of course, the full moon always happens when the sun and moon, or when the moon is exactly opposite the sun, or when the two are as far apart as they can get. And the Gemini sun is interesting because we now have Uranus in Gemini. And Uranus is the planet of shakeup, of unexpected developments, of shifts, sudden changes, things happening very quickly. So things like the energy of earthquakes and lightning bolts, things that electrical, things that can happen very suddenly, which can be both good and bad, right? Because good in the sense that whatever we think things are, wherever we might be stuck in our beliefs about how things are, it can bring the energy of surprise and sometimes happy surprises. But of course, it can also shake things up and take things away. So there's that, with everything, there's two sides of the coin. So this Gemini sun with the Sagittarius full moon, though, is really asking us to open our minds to, because of those potential shifts in thinking, because of how our consciousness could shift or a new idea could arrive to pop in without warning to awaken us to something we couldn't see before, and bringing it back to the energy of Sagittarius and hope and possibility. It can really potentially help us to bring in new ideas, new thinking, new perspectives, in sometimes could be very suddenly, right, in unexpected ways, in ways that could be a little bit shocking, or just really awaken our awareness about what is possible. And with the energy of Uranus, outer planet Uranus, now in Gemini, where it stays in a sign for about 7 years. So it's now in Gemini to stay for several more years. We are going to be really in this energy, in this vibe of the Gemini questions, the curiosity, the inquisitiveness, the wonder, the open mind of Gemini. And so Gemini gets known for being very distractible, being very talkative, right? These kinds of things. But if you think about the energy of Gemini, it is just a very active, curious mind. And that active, curious mind is what leads us to discover new things, to learn new things. So we have all of this energy with this full moon of new possibility, of opening, of new awareness, and new ways of telling stories, new ways of bringing meaning and understanding. Where Gemini collects data, Sagittarius synthesizes. So it synthesizes the data to see the pattern. And when we can see that pattern arranged in new ways, we can, that's how shifts in thinking happen. So, you might be going along thinking that everything is a certain way, and then maybe new data comes in, you evaluate that data, and you see, oh, what we thought before now needs to be changed based on this new data and the patterns we are seeing in the new data. So Gemini is the data and the curiosity that leads us to gather that data, and Sagittarius is the energy of how we synthesize that data to tell a story, to arrive at a theory, to make meaning out of the bits of information. So with this full moon in Sagittarius, we have this real potential to awaken, to open our minds, to see things in new ways, maybe doing a little bit of travel. And if you can't physically travel, read a book, explore something that you normally wouldn't dive into. It could potentially bring you something that will help you see things in new ways. And that energy of the Sagittarius is really inviting us to open our hearts, open our minds, see what is possible when we sort of let go of our attachments, let go of our need for things to be safe and contained, and really go beyond that boundary of safety, the boundary of whatever we know, right? Go beyond the boundary of the known into and expanding into what is less familiar. And as we do so, we might see things in new ways. We might see a different way of telling a story. We might see new meaning. And that supports us on this bigger journey that we are on. So this Sagittarius full moon follows the Taurus new moon. And so we are in a Taurus moon cycle, which is, if you've been following me, we've been talking about how each moon cycle builds on the energy of the previous one. So the Aries moon cycle, which was the one before this one, was all about new beginnings, taking risks, moving things in new directions, starting new things, taking action. And now we are in the Taurus moon cycle, which says, okay, whatever you have put in motion, how are you going to keep it in motion? So how are you going to get the nourishment, the sustenance, the resources that you may need to continue doing what you have started and what feels important and true and meaningful to you, which, of course, we can learn things along the way about what that truth might be and how we might want to adapt our perspectives. So that is what this full moon is inviting. It is inviting us to see things in new ways related to resources, related to how we are going to sustain ourselves, related to how we are going to keep things moving in the direction we have begun, in the new projects, the new identities, the new things that we are starting. How does the new story, the new meaning, or how does meaning help you understand those resources and keep the momentum going forward, like that great Taurus energy that just keeps putting one foot in front of the other, right? Keep it going, keep it moving forward, and think about how you are going to stay grounded in the process as we move through this 35-year Neptune Saturn or Saturn Neptune cycle that began with a really, really, really important conjunction of Saturn and Neptune on February 20th of this year, beginning a 36-year cycle that we are now embarking on. So so each moon cycle will contribute to the bigger 35-year, 36-year process in some way. So this is the Sagittarius moon. It's about the story, how you're telling the story, how you're finding meaning, how you need to maybe go beyond the known or the comfort zone to see a new perspective on things and to connect with your own sense of hope and belief in the future, belief in possibility, and opening your heart and mind to how that will come about. Thank you so much for being here. I also have a guided meditation for the Sagittarius full moon, and just like I do for every new moon and full moon, it is linked in the description for this video. All of the guided meditations are available at astrologyheals.com. Look under the products tab or look for guided meditations. And there's one for the Sagittarius full moon, truth in a new era. Really, really powerful. If you have never experienced one of my guided meditations, they take you deep. They help you connect with awakening your own wisdom. So I will let you experience that. They are $15, totally worth it. It's like your own energy healing session. You get to download and keep that guided meditation and listen to it as much as you want. Thank you for being here, and stay tuned because I have more exciting announcements to come. I have something to share with you tomorrow, so tune back in then. Thank you for being here. Transformationalastrology.com is my member site. Astrologyheals.com is my regular website, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more unshakable self-care astrology videos. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.